When you are in the middle class, you often earn just enough to look stable, but not enough to be fully protected against emergencies. And because of that, certain financial emergencies hit you harder, last longer, and cause more damage than you originally realized. Today, we're breaking down the most common emergencies that hit the middle class the most, and why being comfortable is often more fragile than it looks. Middle-class households usually have steady paychecks, decent credit scores, and access to financial tools like credit cards, personal loans, auto financing, and mortgages. On paper, this looks like stability, but in practice, most of that income is already assigned before it even arrives. We're talking about housing, transportation, insurance, food, utilities, childcare, subscriptions, and even debt payments that quietly absorb almost everything. And what's left over often isn't enough to build large cash reserves. So while the middle class has access to credit, they often lack liquid savings. That means that when something goes wrong, after using the little savings they have to rely on borrowing. And so, now credit becomes the buffer. And credit might feel painless at first because it delays the consequences. The emergency gets handled, life keeps moving, and nothing visibly collapses. But that delay is exactly what makes the situation dangerous. Because the bill always comes later, with interest, stress, and fewer options than before. This dynamic makes middle-class emergencies unique, because they don't actually explode instantly most of the time. But they actually slowly tighten, and by the time people realize they're in trouble, they're already juggling too many obligations to move easily. Income disruption is one of the most severe financial emergencies for the middle class because their entire lifestyle is built around predictability. Middle-class jobs are often salaried, structured, and tied to long-term commitments like mortgages, leases, and multi-year loans. There's an assumption that the paycheck will keep coming, so decisions get locked in based on that expectation. But when income is disrupted, whether it is through layoffs, company downsizing, burnout, health problems, family emergencies, or even industry shifts, the impact is immediate and brutal. Expenses don't pause just because income does. Mortgage payments still hit, car loans still autodraft, insurance premiums still renew. And unlike lower-income workers, middle-class households often don't qualify for emergency assistance quickly, if at all. At the same time, unlike wealthy households, they don't have large cash reserves, investments, or passive income streams to cushion the blow. The result is a rapid drain of savings, followed by heavy reliance on credit. And replacing middle-class income usually takes longer than people expect. Finding a job at a similar pay level can take months. Negotiations matter more. Competition is tighter. And during that gap, stress compounds. Every week without income increases pressure, not just financially, but mentally and emotionally. That stress can affect decision-making, relationships, and even future job performance. What starts as a temporary income disruption can quietly evolve into long-term financial instability if it is not managed carefully and early. But that's not all. Medical expenses hit the middle class especially hard because they exist in a confusing middle zone of the healthcare system. In most developed countries, most middle-class households are insured, but their insurance often comes with high deductibles, high out-of-pocket maximums, and complex coverage rules. That means serious medical issues are technically covered, but only after paying thousands of dollars up front. A single accident, emergency room visit, surgery, or diagnosis can instantly generate bills that rival several months of income. And these expenses often arrive alongside lost wages if someone is unable to work. Lower-income households may qualify for Medicaid in the US, hospital charity programs, or reduced-cost care. Wealthy households can pay out of pocket without destabilizing their finances. The middle class does neither. They delay care. They question symptoms. They avoid follow-ups. And when care is unavoidable, they put bills on credit cards or payment plans, telling themselves they'll figure it out later. Medical debt is especially dangerous because it doesn't feel urgent at first. It arrives slowly, it's spread across statements, and it quietly erodes financial stability in the background. Savings disappear, credit utilization rises, interest accumulates. And because health issues often come with emotional stress, people don't always make optimal financial decisions in the moment. Recovery from the financial damage often takes far longer than recovery from the medical issue itself. Now, let's switch to another common issue: home repairs. They are one of the most underestimated financial emergencies facing the middle class, largely because home ownership is framed as a milestone of success rather than a constant responsibility. Middle-class households are more likely to own homes than lower-income households, but far less likely than wealthy households to have large maintenance reserves. And homes are made of expensive systems. For example, just to name a few: roofs age, plumbing fails, electrical issues surface, foundations shift, and HVAC systems break during extreme weather, when repairs cost the most. These aren't optional expenses. They can't be delayed forever without creating larger problems. Renters can call the landlord. Wealthy homeowners can pay cash. Middle-class homeowners often have to choose between draining savings, taking on debt, or postponing repairs and hoping nothing gets worse. And many people already stretch to buy their home in the first place, leaving little margin afterward. Emergency funds are thin. Preventative maintenance gets skipped. Small issues quietly grow. By the time action is unavoidable, the cost is significantly higher. The home that was supposed to represent security suddenly becomes a source of anxiety. Selling isn't easy either because it may involve losses, relocation, or disrupting children's schooling and routines. But the next one are debt emergencies. And they are where middle-class financial stress becomes truly dangerous, because debt often feels like the solution right up until it isn't. The middle class has access to credit, so debt becomes the default tool for handling disruptions. A job loss goes on a credit card. Medical bills turn into payment plans. Home repairs become personal loans or home equity lines. Each decision makes sense on its own. Each one buys time. But together they create a fragile structure held up by minimum payments and future income assumptions. Over time, interest compounds, cash flow tightens, and flexibility disappears. One missed payment can lower a credit score, which increases interest rates, which raises monthly payments, which reduces options even further. Suddenly, refinancing isn't available, emergency borrowing becomes more expensive, and stress increases. That stress spills into work, health, and relationships. And eventually, a relatively small problem like a car repair or a temporary expense spike can trigger a full financial crisis. This is why middle-class emergencies feel overwhelming. They don't exist in isolation. They stack. They cascade. And by the time people recognize how interconnected everything has become, reversing course requires major sacrifices that were never expected at that income level. One of the most uncomfortable truths about the middle class is that earning more money doesn't automatically make life safer. In many ways, it makes financial management more critical, not less. When expenses rise alongside income, stability doesn't improve unless it's intentional. Emergency funds matter more. Conservative assumptions matter more. Lifestyle inflation becomes more dangerous. The illusion of security can be just as harmful as financial scarcity. Middle-class households often feel like they're doing everything right. They are working hard, paying bills, and building a life, and who can blame them? But that might be why emergencies often feel so shocking when they happen. And the households that weather financial emergencies best aren't always the ones earning the most, but sometimes the ones who built buffers before they were even needed. If this video helped you see middle-class financial stress in a new way, click on one of the videos on your screen right now to see similar financial content.